Hey guys, good morning. It's North Star Farms here. I wanted to talk to you about our meat chicks, our North Star Gauloise versus our regular North Star Bresse. They're not different birds. They are the same birds. They're the same breeding stock we've had this whole time. They are all the same birds. What we're doing is we're doing a marketing gimmick. I mean, you can call it a gimmick. Because as you are a business and you are trying to make sure that you can pay your bills and pay for your breeding program going forward, you have the responsibility to make sure that your customers get a clear picture of what they're purchasing from you. So we did discover that as we were feeding our birds this amazing feed from Fertrell, our recipes from Jeff Maddox, and special awesome kudos to him and thank you for everything he has done, we found that we had the amino acids brought forward and showed up. All the genetics were turned on. And so the birds that were getting the correct feed started exhibiting all the colors that were possible in the birds. And so we have some red genes, we have some wild type gene, we have some silver, we have some dominant white, we have some recessive white, and all of that was hidden until we changed the feed. So changing the feed changes the bird, and changing the feed will change you too when you eat better. You'll be amazed at what happens when you start eating right. You won't get sick as much, you'll be healthier, you'll have more energy. You're just like, your whole life will be better. So, because we're focused on meat, and we're focused on the meat market and restaurants, and hopefully sharing our beautiful birds all over the U.S. and maybe the world someday, we want people to know exactly what they're getting when they get chicks from us. So we pulled birds from the brooder and we graded them by color. So some of the chick fuzz is very, very white. Some of the chicks have more of a yellowish tone, have more of a reddish tone. Some of them have color on their necks. Some of them have color on their heads. And it's all part and parcel of the same exact birds. Nothing changed. But we did a grow out group where we grew out the chicks that were more colorful and the chicks that were more white. And we found that the chicks that already were exhibiting color at hatch were not only a higher percentage of roosters, but that they tended at 16 weeks to have more of a yellowish colored feathering, have more tendency toward having a little bit of a greenish or a yellowish leg color, like a yellowish green, greenish blue. And that's on the continuum with the dilute genes, and that's to be expected as you are working with a bird that carries a dilute gene to have blue legs, because blue is actually black with dilute. And we wanted to make sure that we were sending chicks that were the best genetics possible, and that folks could have the option of either paying for those chicks that are more rare and honestly harder to find in the hatch, that are really white chicks. They're going to be more often adults with really super snow white feathers, and they do have a tendency to have more of a darker blue leg and more of the horn colored beak and more dark eyes. So that gave people the opportunity to say, yes, I do care about breeding to the French standard and having a really, really white bird with beautiful dark legs and dark eyes and dark beaks. Or, nah, I really don't care. I just want meat on my table and I want to feed my family, and I don't have money to break the bank getting a really showy Instagram bird. I just want a really nice breeding stock for eating for my family and eggs. So not only did trademarking that give us the option of putting that label on our meat products at some point, which I think was a good move, but it also gave us the opportunity to be very transparent and open and honest with our customers and let them know that they're what they're paying for, and also to cover our expenses, and to be able to market those birds that we would have otherwise been throwing them away. And so obviously when you're doing poultry, it's a pennies game, and feed is expensive and infrastructure is expensive. Breeding these birds is a lifelong passion. It's not something that's a 1 year and boom, over, yay, we're going to make bank on these. They're not a money maker. You have a lot of birds that go into the freezer that you can't use for anything else, or you have a whole bunch of chicks that you say, I really want to send my very best, and so here I've got 100 chicks in the brooder. What do I do with them? And I really don't like killing chicks. I don't want to kill chicks. I want them to go somewhere and have somewhere to be. But I also want North Star Farms to be known for being transparent and open and honest about what we are doing and why we're doing what we're doing. Because the first thing that we wanted to do was to focus on the structure of the bird, on the depth of the bird, on the meat quality being meat all the way to the keel bone, and as much meat as possible on the bird, but not getting too big, because if you get too big, you start to have lots of leg problems. You start to have, various things are going to show up when the bird gets too big, and we didn't want that either. So at this point, we have found that tipping point. We found where that was, and we backed off from there. So our birds have now, this year in 2024, our 2024 line is the best that we have ever had, bar none. Body type, structure, meat quality, meat production, how quickly they grow, everything about the type of the bird. And when you focus on type, you have to put aside the paint on the barn, the feather color, the comb points, the eye color, those things. If you have the option of calling for that between two birds that are equal in body structure, then of course you're going to pick the bird that has a better comb, or a nicer eye color that you prefer, or better leg color. But when you're focused on breeding and getting your line solidified, that takes years. And so if you were to get distracted with counting comb points, or counting points in your rubric towards, I'm just going to get rid of this bird because it's got a certain coloring thing that I don't like, then you're going to lose your structure really fast, because you're going to limit your genetics. And we have a lot of birds, and we're flock breeding right now, and we were not able to make infrastructure where you have one hen and one rooster and you're labeling one chick. It's not possible or feasible right now. So for right now, what our focus is going to be is making sure that our customers know straight from us, honesty, transparency, and being as forthwith and forthcoming as we can be without giving away trade secrets, to say this is what you're getting when you get these birds from us. So if you purchase those North Star Gauloise, those are the hatch culls. They are culls for feather color only, for leg color only. They're all the same bird with our white American Bresse. All of them have the beautiful body structure that we have worked so hard the last 6 years, and we want to protect our investment and protect our work. There's stories all over of different folks that developed a bird like the Cornish, that the guy just spent all that time, and then his birds were taken out from underneath him by somebody that knew what he had that was valuable. So we don't want that to happen. And we also want to make sure that our customers know when they come to North Star Farms that we are going to offer them options based on what their goals are, because your goals aren't my goals. Your gnome in the Iditarod race might look different, but just because your purpose is different, it's not a bad thing. It's just different. So if you want to do showing at some point, which we are not interested in doing, you want to get Abigail silver birds, because those chicks are the most white and you will have the most success. If you just want meat and eggs in your backyard and you don't want to break your bank, then get the Gauloise and they'll do awesome for you. It's the same bird, just culls based on chick fuzz and leg coloring. Thank you so much, everybody.